And we're live. No real reason for doing this. Nobody asked us to. We just have been talking about doing a podcast for a while. Mostly just because we have really funny conversations sometimes, and
the cats are a bad idea.
This is Ricky Martin, and this is his sister
Sophia.
Sopapia.
She's kind of the wild child.
This is a load of barnacles.
I'm allergic to cats. Okay, bye.
Bye.
We were eating lunch on the way here, and I spilled something on myself, and I realized that it's like literally all over me. So, hello, welcome. Yeah, we have no agenda really. We just wanted to do a podcast like once a week to talk about life and everything that pops into our heads, because we realize if we plan it out too much, it's not going to be funny and it's going to be forced. And listening to people have cat hair all over me. Listening to people talk is funny to me, and we're funny. I think we're funny
Sometimes. I mean, for those of you who know us, we're not going to refer to each other by our first names, our legal names, because I think that's weird. We've never referred to each other as that literally in our entire lives, because our father was so huge on nicknames.
And also, it's just like, if I were to hear you call me by my real name, I think I would probably cry.
What, Angelica?
But see, like, that's the thing, is I can't even say it. Like, I can't even say my real name.
Angelica?
Like, I mean, I can, but like, it makes...
Say it.
No. It makes me really uncomfortable.
Oh, say I can't say my name, like the Hispanic way.
Daniela.
Yeah, I can't do that.
See, I can do it for you.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus. So, we just wanted to talk about life, love, romance, growing up. But we also are very spiritual people, and we're Christians. And we figured that Sunday, since we see each other at church, would be great, because then we can still kind of talk about anything that like meant a lot to us, or how our faith has evolved from just being a part of a family of... It's all over me. I'm so sorry. I feel it all over my body. No. No. For those of you who have not seen VeggieTales, Esther, the girl who became queen.
I don't know what you're doing with your lives. You need to go and watch it right now. It's only 40 minutes, and it's the best cinematic piece ever.
It's so good. And all we do is basically quote like random parts of it, and we're getting really good at the voices. Oh, by the way, this is gonna be called Vintage Sisters. For no good reason, because we're not old. Like, I'm only 30 and she's about to be 21. 30. And honestly, it started because we went to this antique road show. I don't know what you call it, like this antique
fair
swap meet. I don't know.
It's a lot.
And we got these sweatshirts. Our mom bought us all these sweatshirts, which we were wearing them, and I was like, oh my gosh, Vintage Sisters, because we wore them the same day. And I always like to tell people we're not twins, we're sisters. Even though we don't look like that a lot.
No.
So, but we write the same. But if you were to see a picture of both of our feet next to each other,
oh yeah,
you would think they were the same feet. Like, we took this picture once, and
wasn't it like your left foot, my right?
Yes,
foot?
like it was literally because they're the same ugly shape.
Hey,
they look. You remember? I don't know if you do, but like on the backs of people's cars, they used to have like the footprint of like beach life, and it'd be these like either like these footprints or like flip flops,
like the fish where it's like salt life or whatever.
Yeah, and I don't get me started on that. I hate the salt life thing. If you live in the continental U.S. and you're not on a coast, you cannot live the salt life.
Even if you're on the coast, what all are you doing?
If you live in Joplin, Missouri, you cannot live the salt life. If you live in Northwest Arkansas, you cannot live the salt
It's
life.
literally those people that go to like Italy and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry, like Italia, like, oh, like I just want to visit
spent
Italy.
the summer in Italy. Like, is this vino? Oh, the vino.
Right, or like they go to France.
Look at the legs.
And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't know what a croissant is, but like we did have croissants. We had croissants in France.
Bow to me. No, it's Esther. You have to watch it. That's literally like all we're gonna be doing this whole time. If you like it, smash that subscribe button.
We're also
and like
both very ADD.
Technically, I have ADHD.
Same thing.
Not
A little bit.
I'm neurodivergent.
We all are.
It's a mystery.
It sounded like a Hillary Duff lyric.
Okay, there's this song that's like, let the rain fall down. And she says, I'm coming clean. And I was about to say, I'm crowning.
Don't think that that's the word for it.
I also had a C-section, so.
You don't even know what it like.
No. Pepper shakes is where it's at. We are not sponsored. We could be. We couldn't be.
If Whataburger, the franchise, wants to sponsor us in my bedroom, I would be very willing.
Oh my gosh, but they have these really cute sweatshirts. And today's a little different just because we weren't like, I won't lie, like I literally was like, hey, BG, are we gonna wear vintage sweatshirts? And she was like, I mean, I can. So that means no. Like she wasn't planning on it.
First of all, I have receipts. I said I can, LOL. Which meant I wasn't even dressed yet, so I could. And then you said, no, like, that's fine. Don't even worry about it.
I wasn't going to anyway.
I just didn't want to leave you hanging if you hurt yourself.
I'm sick. I don't normally sound like this. But I'm not
Yes,
like
you
sick,
do.
Sick. Yeah. So we did kind of have like a topic. But I think mostly, again, we just wanted it to be funny and light and like our normal conversations because our family is a lot when you come in into it. And there have been like our siblings' wife and my husband are they did not come from this kind of family. Mm-mm. Like they came from a family that like both like you just brush it under the rug, you don't like have conflict, you don't all eat at the dinner table, you have really small like white size portions, and we're Mexican if
no seasonings,
and you don't like talk over people and you don't yell all the time and you're not just like really loud, and you don't like make fun of each other all the time, you don't roast each other, and like that's what we do. And so we think that it's funny and that it's just like it's a joy. Like I would love to go to somebody else's home that had a family like we did, because I would love to see it from a different perspective.
Right.
Like, is it too much? Because Zan hates it. Zan's my husband. He doesn't hate the family, but like he for a while he was very intimidated. Like he was very intimidated coming over because he's much more meek, much more like reserved, but when he says something, it's a zinger. Every single
he's
time.
hilarious.
Oh my gosh,
he's unfortunately
so
funny.
So I'm gonna tell him that. BG says you're unfortunately funny. Unfortunately,
because I don't want him to be funnier than me, but he is. Like he's always the funniest person in the room, but he's not going to speak up all the time.
Could you imagine if you like had a loved one that's like having a surgery and you're waiting in the waiting room, the doctor comes out and they're like, unfortunately, they're very funny, but it went okay.
Where did that come from?
I was just thinking, like, when you were like, unfortunately funny. I was
like a Grey's Anatomy episode, and
yes,
he's dreamy, and he's like,
unfortunately, you are very funny.
But also,
we have to drill into your skull.
Yeah.
And cut out half your brain.
We gotta take the leg.
Pick me. Love me.
Pick me.
Choose me. This first episode is not getting posted.
We'll just cut some stuff.
A lot of stuff. The whole thing. Unfortunately, you're funny. I'm gonna make a bumper sticker. Unfortunately funny. Honk if you're unfortunately funny. No, it's killing it.
Yeah.
Done.
You really drove that one in the ground.
My intrusive thoughts have a lot to say right now.
I'm telling you, we're very ADHD.
We did have a topic. And it was familia. It was family. Like, you can see, like, I tried really hard. Mostly, I just wanted to use the Apple Pen. But it says, like, vintage sisters. What do we want to do? We want to be relatable. We want to be funny. We want to be anti-pop culture.
Checking off every box.
Yes, I forgot about anti-pop culture. So,
as we're quoting Esther, and that's as niche as you can get.
But I don't want to be like, did you see Taylor Swift yesterday, like, on the news? Like, I don't care. I get enough of that from BuzzFeed. Like, I'm good. And it feels like every other... Like, podcasting is so saturated. And, like, everybody has a podcast. You call me a ganat?
No!
You calling me stupid? Boy, hussy. I'm telling y'all, if you haven't seen it, I'm gonna link it below. Okay, Veggie Tales.
Because we're very spot on, too. Like, you're gonna be shocked at how accurate it actually is.
We're gonna link it in the description below. Like and smash. Subscribe to my Patreon.
There's no Patreon.
I want to be an anti-podcast. Does that make sense? Like, you listen to some and they're like so scripted and so like, here's our special guest for the day. In today's topic, we're going to talk about feminism. Or like just something like really like extreme, or I don't care what's going on in the world in the news because I feel like we get that enough. This is one of those like, I want to escape from reality and go into the most crazy, unconventional like world. And that's where we get you because we're like, psych, now like let me talk to you about my Lord and Savior. And I'm like, how our worlds have evolved, just because I feel like this is such a beautiful platform to be able to use. So anti-pop culture, organic. I thought it said or genuine.
Okay, I couldn't read your handwriting, by the way.
Organic. I was writing so fast. I can really read it. Let's see. We have done our intros. We haven't.
No.
No intro.
There's no intro.
There's no intro. Intro to the podcast. Yeah, we've done that. And then familia. So we always had this like mantra growing up, if that's what you could call it, is like familia is forever. Like, I don't know who made that up.
I don't know, but I'm sure that it was something that our father got off of like movies.
Either that or it's something that I've said, because I will say, Daddy and I coined a lot of things.
Y'all didn't coin a lot of things. You watched a lot of movies and then quoted things.
I'm still waiting to receive the royalties.
You're still waiting to receive the royalties? Okay, Scooby-Doo.
Ruh-roh. Ruh-roh. No. Anyway, we also, and I think it was always, our dad would always tell us, because like we just had like not great friends growing up.
No,
I had not great friends.
Not great friends.
Like literally, I'd get beat up by my friends,
and then be like, "Oh my gosh, my best friend in the whole world!"
Like Lucy. And
also, I was like, I know,
like she wasn't even born.
We had a 10-year age difference.
That's why also we're vintage sisters. Is just because we are so far apart in age. Where I am vintage and she's a sister, so we're vintage sisters. But like, he always would say like, at the end of the day, when everyone else leaves you, family is forever, and your friends are gonna come and go, but I'm still gonna be here, and all this kind of stuff, and like blood runs thicker than anything else, and it didn't matter like how mad we were at each other. We always, had to go and hash it out. Like it, we wore out this couch that we had. It was this like light tan colored leather couch. And I remember when we first got it, like, it was just like, oh my gosh, it's so nice. I don't even remember couches before that. But we wore it out because if there was ever a conflict, it was always, okay, well, fine, we just won't play around like that anymore. Because
if you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen.
Yes, because we like roast each other all the time, but at some point, like, it just gets a little hurtful, and it's just like, okay, like, let it go, like, and so if you were to speak up, he would instantly be like,
right.
Fine, we just won't play around anymore then. Fine,
Yeah.
we're just done.
We just can't be a family that plays around together then if you just can't handle it. And we know this because he said it every time.
So then it would turn into, we would start having these like full drawn out conversations of what we didn't like about each other in the room. And we would be sitting,
which we still do like once a month.
all the time. We'd be eating like dinner usually. And then somebody would be like, okay, I'm gonna go sit over here on the couch because it's really uncomfortable, like sitting on like a hard chair for hours, like saying the same things over and over again.
And it was usually one of the parents.
Yes.
It was usually one of them being like, okay, I'm just gonna go sit on the couch. And then the conversation would just end.
And it, like, it was just, or we'd start on the couch, and these conversations would last for hours. Like, this is not an exaggeration. They would last for hours, and it was the same thing over and over again. And then our dad would probably put in some weird analogy, like he always made a metaphor and an analogy of something, so you already knew what he was talking about, but it just made him feel better, I think.
I don't know.
But like there would be some times where he would say an analogy and they were trash.
Oh yeah.
And then there would be these nuances where he would like say a really good analogy, and I would stop and be like, that was a good analogy. Like, that was a good one.
And you're like, yeah, I know. There's a clear correlation as to where we get our sarcasm and our sass, and I don't think that it's our mother.
We also have this other saying, where we have roots where others have branches. And so a tree kind of became like our family like crest.
Yes.
like if we were to have a family crest, it would be not a shield, it would just be a tree. This massive tree with lots of roots. And we only got that because of this bank my mom used to work at. And their thing was like, we have roots where others have branches. And like, none of it makes any sense to me. Like, I don't get it.
I don't, to this day, I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
Or what it has to do with my financials.
Right?
Like, what do you mean? You have roots. Roots where? In my pocket? In my wallet?
My bank account?
Like, I don't want that. I don't want you to have roots in my bank account. I want you to have a branch in my bank account.
Right?
Not roots. Like, don't dig deep logical sense behind it at all. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Because we're not outdoorsy people either.
No.
Like, look at us. We're not outdoorsy people. We don't have, like, an infatuation with trees. We've never been, like, nature conscious.
You like plants now.
Yeah, but, like, that's Zan. Like, that's all
Yeah.
Zan. Like, we went to cities for vacations, not, like, camping.
Well, when we say cities, we went to one city.
Chicago.
San Antonio.
Oh, we also went to Chicago.
Once.
Right. But, like, we'd go to, like, Tulsa every weekend.
Okay, that's not really, like, I don't consider that a vacation.
No, but they have skyscrapers, so it's a city. Yeah. I was just there yesterday.
Are you really?
Yeah. Yeah, it was not a great experience for me. We went to a fish store. I have a saltwater tank, and I got these new zoanthids.
One more time.
Zoanthids. I can't do it without moving my eyebrows. Zoanthids. And do you remember that phase I went through where Daddy would always be like,
open your eyes.
Open your eyes. Because all the time I'd be like, no.
He would do that to me, too.
Your eyes are that small.
I will say sometimes if I'm smiling or I'm laughing too much, my eyes, like, close and I can't see anything.
I took this picture with Sterling the other day. And I was smiling like a normal smile, not like my prom smile, like a normal smile.
It's your prom smile. Or like those those pictures you used to take where you would like, do you remember that? Like it would be just this far that's up.
No, that's my lip.
No.
I'm pretty sure.
No, I know very specifically the ones I'm thinking of.
I was like, I have
and you
little
don't
lips.
take pictures like that now.
Oh.
It was when you worked at PetSmart, like that era.
Okay, that whole era though, like,
right, like
y'all let me walk around
huge
with
eyebrows.
like...
I did see a picture of you recently, and your eyebrows were no joke this big.
It's because I used a stencil.
Oh.
Do you remember that Mother's Day where we went to...
I literally was going to bring it up, where you were like, oh, my eyebrows aren't twins, they're sisters, which is where Vintage Sisters gets its roots.
Not branches. Always been very just strong together. And...
Well...
I think once our dad got cancer in 2020, it was like literally, this is the most like miserable part of it all. It was the same week that the world shut down for COVID.
Oh, literally.
March 13th.
So March 10th was when we found out. And then I stayed home from school the next day because I was a sophomore. It was my sophomore year. No, it was my junior year.
In high school, by the way.
It was my junior year in high school. And then the next day I went to school. And then literally the next day after that, they shut schools down.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that whole like Thursday we were all together, and then I remember I went back to work. It was Friday. I was at lunch with my team because I had just gotten promoted. And my sister-in-law was like, hey, I might have been exposed to somebody who had COVID. And this was like when it was so unknown. Like we had heard whisperings about it. It wasn't a big deal.
So his doctors told him flat out, if you get COVID, there is nothing we can do for you. Mm-hmm. So we were terrified. Mm-hmm. Didn't leave the house. He didn't even go outside, really.
Mm-hmm. No, I remember like the first time we came over, we had to wear masks. I had a flashback of this the other day. I don't remember why. But, like, I was so mad at you because you were so anal about it.
Oh, yeah. Very much.
And, like, what we couldn't and could not do. And we were wearing masks. And because we hadn't tested, because test didn't exist like that. Like
literally.
It was just so go out early. And buy a test. And I don't know why we're telling you guys this. Like, you didn't experience this.
Right.
But,
it was crazy. Like, you'll never understand. Like, you couldn't even get a test.
And I remember we had to eat dinner because like, when our family gets together, we eat. And so we were eating dinner and you were freaking out at the thought of us taking our masks off to eat. And so I remember I'm bawling with my mask on, like moving it, trying to eat. And finally I think like daddy or someone was just like, take your masks off. Like it's fine, we're eating. And you got mad and like stormed off. Like it was this huge deal. And then we didn't get back together for a very long time. And when we did, it was because we were all outside.
Yeah.
Honestly... he should have gotten COVID.
Oh, yeah.
I know that sounds terrible. Like, you had COVID and they didn't get it.
Yeah, because it was at this house. It was way later down the road. It was 2022. I got COVID, and I did stay in the room and, like, wore a mask when I was out there, but, like, I was still around him.
And still, however you got it, they were also around. Like, they should have gotten it.
Our mom had, like, she got sick first and had basically the same symptoms, but when she went to the urgent care, she tested negative. And then I tested positive.
I swear it was COVID.
I think it was too.
Yeah.
And she literally slept in the same bed.
Yeah. Yeah. They should have. He should have gotten COVID.
Yes.
But he did it.
He also had like 4 shots and like 2 immunity booster shots.
Yeah. And so when he passed, our dynamic changed quite a bit. Because he was like the patriarch truly of our family and like what kept us together. I feel like our relationship with our not immediate family got stronger. Mm-hmm. But our relationships within our immediate family have drastically changed.
Mm-hmm. Which, 2020 wasn't a good year for us anyway.
No.
2020, I think, I've talked to my therapist about this. She thinks that it was because all of us were going through so much stress that, like, it was inevitable that it was going to leak out like that. Like, we didn't know how to handle it, so we took it out on each other.
Yeah, 100%.
And so, like, our relationships were not good. You and I were not good.
No.
It was a bad year. 2020 was a bad year.
It was such a bad year for everybody. Everybody. And I know that. And I don't want to be like, oh, I had the worst year ever.
Right.
Like, there are people who literally lost people in 2020. 2022, worst year of my life. Literally.
Oh, yeah.
That's when our father passed. But it was even before then. Like,
he died in December.
Yeah. Like, it was literally just like the whole year. Truly, the whole year was just a lot of ups and downs and emotion, and I went through my blonde phase, and I won't be a blonde again because like I feel like that you have to go through your blonde phase. you just have to.
You're like, it was the worst year of my life. I was blonde, and I was sitting in a room doing a podcast. And
I was 21, and I wasn't. That'd be so weird. It was like, I just said I'm 30, and like 2020, I was
27. 26.
Yeah, because it was 4 years ago. Yeah. Wow, 4 years ago.
I was 16. No. Yeah, I was 16 because my birthday's late.
Yeah.
So I was turning 17.
Work. Yep. It was a rough year, a rough time. He passed. Our lives changed.
And I feel like
drastically.
In between that, like in between 2020 and 2022, like our relationships weren't perfect.
No.
But they were improved from what they were. And then as soon as like 2023 started, it's like this shift happened.
Yeah.
Almost immediately, but I don't think we saw it yet. We didn't see it really until like 2 months ago.
Well, kind of. I would say it was probably halfway through 2023, honestly. I think like you and I had it a lot differently because we were caretakers during those last few months of his life and like the last few weeks of his life. You were a caretaker a while.
I would say.
But for me, I wasn't a caretaker until the last few weeks, and that was difficult. That was like I'd never even been mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, physically prepared to like lift somebody or like do stuff like that. And so like I think we trauma bonded hard over that.
Well, and I think it was a huge thing for us, I think, because a big point of conflict between me and the other two siblings was kind of my attitude during certain things. You didn't like how positive or optimistic or whatever it was, but it was because you guys weren't living the everyday life of experiencing cancer 24/7.
Yeah.
It was a conversation we had of like, you guys get to go home at the end of the day and I'm still here with this. And I think it became more real, and I think that's why we bonded more.
I mean, I lived here like for us
basically 2 weeks.
Yeah, for a solid 2 weeks. And I know that doesn't seem like a long time, but like I have a kid and a husband and my own family and a job and
and it's also just a long time in general when you're thinking of like the context of hospice.
Yeah, I mean, I woke up in that room, I slept in that room, I lived in that room, I breathed in, like it was a lot, and like those are seals.
My screensaver was seals
swimming around. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh. It was really serene though. Like it's really relaxing. I felt calm.
I remember choosing that. It chose me.
The seal life.
The seal.
Salt life. You guys really found you found a church family that I think really helped you guys through like these paradigm shifts of our dad being gone and just like how we manage. And I won't lie, I was super judgy about it, mostly because it was not how I grew up. Like I grew up Southern Baptist. I grew up like
we weren't Southern Baptist.
I was when we.
Oh, I forgot. You went to a church on your own that was Southern Baptist.
No, with Mom and Daddy.
It wasn't Southern Baptist.
Emmanuel was Southern Baptist. Yes.
Makes a lot of sense. Never mind.
Yeah.
I forgot about Emmanuel. I was thinking like Tawny Town. Like...
No, like that's where I was.
Okay,
like,
yeah.
And then we went to a Christian church, or non-denominational, I guess is what they are.
Yeah.
And I was very active there, and it just like it wasn't that I didn't believe, because I am a believer, was a believer at that point. I just had fallen so far away from my faith and my walk, but also it felt like for a while God was being used as like this scapegoat of like, he's going to provide miracles. He has to.
Right.
Like he just has to deliver us. And I think we've all kind of changed the way we look at that now, because at the time I think we all were very guilty of that.
Oh yeah.
And now we're not. We're realizing God is sovereign and all of that. And that has helped me with my grief journey. But I just didn't understand it. I didn't understand why we always had to have the pastor here. Or why everyone always had to be like involved in our family. It was our family.
It was, I from the outside looking in, I do understand how it could have been a little jarring, because it was
a very quick shift.
It was quick. It was, because even when Daddy was alive, like, we had them over for dinner and all of these things, and we tried explaining, but it probably just didn't come across that it felt so different. It felt like our pastors, like our people, immediately. And so I do understand how that was probably weird.
Well, and like, I think too, it was just, he was still alive at that point, but like, we had to fight to be able to be a part of his cancer journey because of COVID. And then all of a sudden, it's like COVID kind of bums down, and then all these random people that we don't know, and it feels like they know you better than we do, and I'm your family, and that doesn't make any sense. I'm your daughter. But he passed, and it honestly, it wasn't until I was writing my eulogy, the third copy of my eulogy, because I went through some manuscripts of it, and they were all really bad until the last one. The last one was so good, honestly. It was very good. I got lots of compliments on my eulogy. Such a weird thing to get compliments on.
We both did eulogies, and I also got compliments on mine.
She did. I got more, but she did. It's the weirdest thing, still.
Oh, yeah. It, honestly, I don't remember it at all.
Blacked out. It wasn't until I was reading like a lot of like these posts and stuff he made about his faith and all of that, and it just kind of like triggered something in me. I don't know. And then you guys started getting more active in the church, and it was more so I wanted to be with you guys and like be a part of like this like fellowship of my family. But then you go into this church and it is a weird feeling to try to explain, and we've talked about this, and like this feeling, it almost feels like I'm having an anxiety attack.
Right.
And it's like I can't breathe. Everything feels really heavy.
But it's not negative.
No.
Because an anxiety attack, you're scared. It's,
no.
This is wrong, something's wrong.
It feels like stuff, electricity in my body. Like energy.
You feel at peace with it.
A lot of energy.
And what's crazy too is that this wasn't something that we talked about, and like what we did where we kind of bounced off what it felt like. Even our mom, we each individually felt this, and then when we happened to talk about it, we're like, oh my goodness, you felt the same thing? That's crazy.
Yeah. And it's like my heart was racing and I felt almost dizzy. Like you just feel like the world is spinning around you, but you feel so centered at the same time. And it's like if I would like be praying out loud audibly, I'm not thinking about what I'm saying. I'm just talking. And this church has truly helped change my life in the sense of bringing me closer to God, bringing me closer to his callings for me. It was a sermon that CJ gave months ago.
Which I'm sure a lot of you already know that.
Months ago. I mean, it was in November. And because we had talked about this when we went on our trip in Thanksgiving. But it was before Thanksgiving, and he gave this sermon about... Mama wasn't there, I don't think.
She was.
He gave this sermon, and we were all having a really hard time the closer we got to Thanksgiving, because we were hitting the holidays. We were hitting a year of his passing.
He died before Christmas. So it was like, he died, then Christmas, then New Year's, and his birthday's in January.
Our parents' anniversary is in November.
On Thanksgiving Day that year.
Yeah, it was just a lot, and we knew we had all just experienced and finished up our first birthdays without him. You were turning 20, I was turning 30. Like, they were big milestones in our lives. And we were sitting in service, and CJ had said that we might not understand it, and we ask why, but God was done with him. Like, he had used him for what he needed, and that's why, like, that's not the why, so to speak, but like, that's all I need to know is that Daddy had done what God had sent him to do, was to be on this earth and to ultimately set us up with this legacy of faith. Truly, I feel like his legacy was faith.
Right.
Because that has truly transformed. And that was something that, like, he even said on his post of, like, if, like, one thing that, like, sticks is I want it to be, like, my faith and my relationship with Christ. And I'm sorry that I didn't do a better job of, like, portraying that to everybody. And it really, that got me thinking, and CJ had said, God is sovereign, always. It doesn't matter what we here on earth feel or think, but God is sovereign. And that really transformed my grief journey, was thinking like, okay, because that was my thing, was like, why? Why? And that transformed not only my grief journey, but it also transformed me and my faith. Because I feel like since that service, I started going more regularly. I started getting more involved in the body. I started understanding what you guys were talking about. And it wasn't until we did this prayer tunnel. I'd never experienced anything like this. Pastor CJ, like, shout out. Like, I know you didn't come up with it, but like, it was the most invigorating. Like, you don't remember these commercials, but audience at home, you probably do. There were these like Dove deodorant commercials when they first came out with their like Dove Essentials, and it would be like all this like ASMR like overload where they would like pop open a can of soda, like just like, and then they'd like slice open a lemon, and then you'd see this woman's pupils like get wide. That's what like this prayer tunnel like felt like. Like it was like invigorating. Like it was like all my senses were overloaded. And I mean that same day I asked to be baptized. That same day I went up to the altar for the first time. Like that was such a moving day for me. Truly a transformative day.
Can I also just say it really helps that you have people to pray over you like Jen, CJ, or Tracy. I don't know what it is about that woman. Love her to death. I am fine until she lays hands on you and starts praying, and then I am a mess.
Yes.
I am blubbering, like, I don't cry until she starts praying, and then I'm like, my goodness.
There's just something about having hands laid on you in general, honestly. Like, I had never been a believer of that, and I had been one of these believers that CJ's been talking about in services where it's like, I don't need to go to church.
Yeah. We had this conversation. We started going, also, we said the exact same time in the exact same way with the exact same hand movements. We had this conversation outside where we were talking about how I felt going to church now, and you had said, well, I just don't really feel like I need to go to church to have a relationship with God. And you're right, but there's so much more to it.
But also, like, at the same time, I was wrong, because that is part of what we're called to do, is to fellowship and have a church and minister through that and be a part of that body.
You were just right on the, yes, you should have a personal relationship with God, and no, that's not determined by a church.
Yes. And it was like my human way of basically being like, no, I don't want to go to your weird church.
Right.
Like,
well, and it also, I mean, we're Pentecostal, and so there's speaking in tongues and there's things like that, but it's not, when you're in the moment, it's not weird.
No. And speaking in tongues, I feel like is so taboo, right? Like, but it's been so over dramatized,
over dramatized, I don't know.
Yeah, whatever that word is. Of like, you know, you see these like videos and these documentaries of like these Pentecostal churches and healings and speaking in tongues and stuff, and you just are like, this doesn't make sense. But it's truly when you're there and when you're feeling it all, you understand it so differently of like, no, that's a heavenly language.
Yeah.
Like that is direct communication. Like, I want a healing of someone who's speaking in tongues over me. Like, please, like, if you feel that moved, that God is speaking to you through you in this language that I might not understand or have experienced, like, the Spirit is moving at that point. And I think that ultimately this all goes back, I can't get comfortable.
It's this chair. We need to get you a better chair.
Ultimately, it all goes back to like our family and our dynamic change. But truly, like, our faith, I think, was so much stronger when he died. And I hate that it took that. I truly, it's one of the things that I regret in life, is that it took him dying to realize that I wasn't where I needed to be. But it also has saved my life by thinking of thinking it that way, of like, he left this legacy for me to pick up and carry with me.
Well, and I think that's kind of where God's plan comes into it, and that it may not necessarily be what we wanted, but God knew that this would bear fruit.
Yep. And it's unbelievable. The fruit it has bared in our lives and Mama's life. I raised my hands.
Oh yeah, you did. You did today.
I raised my hands last Sunday too. and the Sunday before that. I have never done that before, ever in my life.
I've started even personally praying, I'll do this.
Yeah.
And I didn't used to do that.
Yeah.
When I've had a very recent revelation, and I recognize that it's not my own, but God. Mm-hmm. But I don't know why, but I was sitting there and I was prepping for this, and all of a sudden I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? I think I've gotten to the point where if for some reason we lived in a reality where there was no heaven, and if like there was no salvation part of it, would I still worship God? Mm-hmm. And I have confidently gotten to the point where I would say that I would still. Mm-hmm. Like it's no longer, because I feel like it used to be when I was younger, because I wasn't raised in church. Mm-mm. I don't know the Bible. It's something I'm working on. I've never read it fully. I've read like 1 or 2 chapters fully, because I just wasn't raised in church. I wasn't raised in Sunday school. And so before, I feel like my faith was like, oh, well, I don't want to go to hell.
Yeah.
So
it's terrifying.
Yeah, like of course I'm a Christian. Like my parents are, and I don't want to go to hell.
Yeah.
But now I feel like I've, through the church, through my own study, have gotten to the point where if I went to hell tomorrow, I think I would, like if I was guaranteed that, I think I would still worship God.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that's not even remotely a part of my relationship with God. Wow, you just whacked me in the hand with that.
Sorry. Yeah, I've been, it's been truly inspiring. I think, again though, being around people like this, it's just, it truly is, yeah. It's really a part of it, and I've never felt uncomfortable. Mm-mm. I've never felt more at peace, and I am literally like energized every Sunday. Like I've been waking up and going upper room, like it's the earliest I've ever woken up all week.
Oh yeah.
Like tomorrow, I'm sleeping in, I'm late for work. I'm not, I am, but like Sunday, I'm like, and every Sunday, Zan's first like, are you going to church? I'm like, yep. Mm-hmm. Like it's not even a question at this point. Sorry, I missed out on Women of the Word Thursday. I just wasn't feeling very good, but like I'm not feeling very good today, and I was like, I gotta go. Like I need to go.
Right.
Because like you feel the need. Like I feel a need.
Okay, I do. This is gonna sound harsher than it is. Sorry. I do, and I don't like that Mama went to church today, because now I have no excuse if I feel bad.
Right.
This woman has a vein, like a line in her arm going up, giving her nutrition 24/7.
She's a gastric bypasser.
The thing went off in church, and CJ joked about it.
Bro, he started doing that. He's like, I'm a kid of the 80s.
The thing went off.
Boop, boop, beep,
so
boop.
now I can't be like, well, I have the sniffles, so I need to stay home. Like, if she can go with that, I have to go now.
No, I will say, though, this doesn't mean, though, that if you do have a fever and you're
true. Different.
Yeah. But, like, I don't have a fever. And, like, I'm congested. Like, that's not reason to not go. And I can't be like, oh, I'm going to watch it. No, I'm not.
Right?
I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah.
No offense. Like, it's not, it's
quite
just,
honestly, I've only ever done that once. We missed.
It's truly just, like, it's the reality of it is, no, I'm not going to watch them asleep.
Well, and it also goes to show how important it is to have people in your life that are Christians, because we are so innately flawed that it's like, we're not going to hold ourselves accountable to watch church even if we're not there.
No, I need an accountability partner. 100%. Like, 110. I can't show you who my secret sister is.
Oh, I mean, you could.
I did, but I can't show the camera the secret sister. I have this notebook that I only use for scripture. Because I wrote down some ones that really... It's so interesting. I haven't gone through and, like, read through this. I highly encourage everybody to keep a journal of, like, while you're studying scripture. Like, it's one thing to, like, write in your Bible, but, like, to write as well. Because I started praying in my Bible. Mm-hmm. Or not my Bible, in this book. Like, look at this prayer. This is a long prayer.
It's also illegible.
No, it's not.
You can't read that.
That is writing in tongues.
Okay.
There were these verses. I become a psalm girl.
A psalm girl?
A psalm girl. A country song girl. It's
okay, Taylor Swift.
It's a Brandon Lake song. It's called Country Psalm.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No.
Yeah, he has a song called Country Psalm.
I'm sure he's great, and I'm sure he honors God, but that made me lose all respect for him.
Bro, if you don't love Brandon Lake, are you really in love?
Karma.
I love Brandon Lake. And his wife Brittany is a gem. I don't know them.
I was saying, like, okay.
I have a parasocial relationship with them. Our next topic is parasocial relationships.
Idols.
Miranda sings. Oh my gosh. I'm blushing. Oh my gosh. I don't even know him. He has long hair, is ultimately what it is. My husband has super long hair. I just have a thing for men with long hair. Look at Prince Derek from Princess Swan. The Swan Princess. He has long hair.
Princess Swan.
A swan princess. He has long hair. I've always loved...
Does he?
Simba. Long hair.
That's a little weird.
Okay.
Simba's a lion.
Bro, but he's an attractive lion.
He's a lion.
He's an attractive...
It's an animal.
An attractive animal. But yeah, I've become a psalm girl. And there...
That's where this came from.
And there are a couple of verses that I really liked. And I realized, like, none of my verses ever have anything to do with anything. I just like them. I liked this one. But you, Lord, are a shield around me, my glory, the one who lifts my head high. I call out to the Lord, and he answers me from his holy mountain. That was Psalm 3:3-4. I loved Psalm 3:8, from the Lord, deliverance. May your blessing be on your people. Psalm 4:8, in peace I will lie down and sleep, for you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. Like, I think for me, I've just been battling a lot mentally of not seeing myself fearfully and wonderfully made in Christ. Like, it's such a cliche thing to say.
Right.
Like, you see him on t-shirts all the time, like, fearfully and wonderfully made. Like, he is risen. Like, it's just all these things, these buzz things.
Yes.
But like, it's true where I just haven't been seeing myself that way. I've gained a lot of weight, and but CJ hit something today when he was talking about idolizing, and I was so convicted because I've been idolizing my attractiveness.
Right.
I've been idolizing the way other people see me and how I see myself. And my body dysmorphia really gets me. The enemy really gets me with my body dysmorphia because I look so much different in the mirror to myself than what other people see me in pictures. And
I feel the same way.
And it's one of those things where when he said, would you sin for this?
Right.
Yes. I hated that. I hated that I answered yes. Yes, I would sin to be attractive. I would sin to not feel terrible inside. And then he said, why?
Right.
Why? What's the root cause? I wrote it down because I was just like, he said, what is in our heart calling us to sin? What are we seeking? Once you let things come between us and God, it has now become an idol.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, like, truly, like, alcohol has become my idol. Because I'm hiding and trying to, like, just not feel terrible about myself. It's also, like, making me gain weight.
Well, and it's also, I mean, like, even stuff like that for grief.
Yeah.
Like, I have done some things since he died that I'm not necessarily proud of. To numb things. And so I wouldn't feel.
Yeah.
And because of said thing that I did, there's multiple days directly after that I don't remember.
Yeah.
Because of it.
Yeah.
And it's like, not that I needed to, but that was a direct consequence of my own actions in that moment. It wasn't that I was so in the throes of grief that I couldn't remember it, because I do have days like that. This was not that. It was my own action.
No, that's been happening to me. There was a couple times in the last few weeks where, like, it's like a Tuesday and I'm, like, blackout drunk. And I don't remember anything. And then I wake up the next morning and Zan's like, oh my gosh, you were, like, stupid. Like, you were sloppy. You're like, I'm never eating it again. And I didn't read my Bible, like, at all that week. And I was like, why? And I'm like, because I was drunk and I felt bad doing it. Like, how can I be inebriated and read the Bible? Like, it seems like I'm gonna burn or something, like something bad's gonna happen. Did you have verses you wanted to share before we cut out?
I don't really have much verse wise. I felt kind of stuck on this one because I feel like there's so many things that I could talk about that I don't know. Right now I'm feeling a huge
she's like, help.
I'm feeling a huge drive towards, like, more evangelism. I just feel like I have such a strong pull for non-believers right now. I mean, it's always been something I've been interested in. It was like apologetics even. And I watch stuff like that all the time. But we know many people who aren't saved, who don't believe.
We know a lot, yeah.
And like my best friend, the love that I have for her makes me so, like, I grieve for her.
Yeah.
Because she was raised in a family where her father had some issues with religion, and so he didn't share any religion. Mm-hmm. She was raised atheist, is continuing to be an atheist, and she's never even experienced anything remotely religion. And it made me have to kind of reanalyze myself, because I'm like, I am the only one in her life that is a Christian. The only experience she has with Christianity and with God is through me. And that's a huge weight.
Oh, yeah.
Because I have to somehow embody that in a way that isn't, I don't know, so like anti what she is.
Well, and you have to be gentle with it too, because so when I was in high school, I was saved at that point, and I went through a lot of this like spiritual battle where I just went too hard. And there's a fine line between being a Christian, telling everybody about God, but also pushing it down everyone's throat. And that's not how you win people to the kingdom. And I mean, I would send out like daily Bible verses only to the people in my life that were sinners. Only to people that I knew weren't saved. And it became a problem.
Right.
And people didn't want to be my friend anymore. People deleted, like people to this day still don't want to be my friend. And it hurts because I'm like, I wish I could go back and be a different person. And so you have to be so gentle with it. You can't constantly be like, I really wish you could say, like, even with Sterling, I can't push it down her throat. She got on to me because she thought I was having her read her Bible.
Right.
And it was because she doesn't know how to read. She's 5. She was like, Mommy, stop telling me to read my Bible. I don't know how to read. Like, she was just upset about it. And it had nothing to do with that she didn't want to, but she felt like I was forcing her to, and it took the enjoyment out of it. It took the realness out of it. So I think that's the fine line.
Right.
Is how do you win them over? CJ, question for you. How do you win them over slowly, gracefully, truthfully? But like we're running out of time. Right. Is what I also feel like.
I don't know. I don't have any other word to use other than grieve, because I feel like that's the only thing that's strong enough, because I have experienced, and you have too, so many miracles and so many things that are unexplainable in any other circumstance. I literally have had, I would have a service on Sunday, and then Monday night I find in my dad's Bible the same verse that was said in the church service. Same one. And it just happened to be literally what was bookmarked in his Bible. And things like that, I feel like an atheist would be like, oh, that's just a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. Nothing is a coincidence. And it is, I don't even have words to describe how like amazing these kinds of things are. And I just sit here and I'm like, I don't know how you don't see it. How do you not see it? How do you not see all these things? But I feel like my generation, and I think that's why I have such a calling for it, is my generation has the opportunity to kind of fix the wrongs that the baby boomers did, basically. Yeah. Because their whole thing was, you're gonna burn, you're going to hell, everything you do is wrong, you should be scared. I mean, they would literally give
evangelism through like fear,
and that's not a good relationship. And like they would literally give out those little like
tracts,
and it's like scary images of demons and like people being hung and like stuff. I remember those as a kid. And it's like, I feel that it's my generation's job now to fix that, because nobody's going to be saved with that.
I'm not crying, but my eyes are hurting.
Because like, especially my friend, if I went up to her and I said, you're going to go to hell, she's going to be like, bye, that's it.
Because and that's what people use for such hate in today's society. And he touched on it in his service today, is we're making idols of the president, of all these people that lead, and we're using scripture to throw stones at this mission field of, well, all of you guys are sinners, and I'm going to use a name, and you guys are going to get mad. Trump is the one true light. Jesus is using Trump. No, he's not.
No,
he's not. He's not. I'm gonna tell you straight up. He's
Oh
not.
yeah, no.
I'm sorry. I am neither for any of our political candidates. I'm going to say that right now. None of our presidential candidates are being used for the glory of God. No. 100%. It's literally driving division. It's turning people away from Christ.
And also, it takes more than just saying God loves our country or God bless America. Yeah. Like,
no, it takes more than just being a Republican,
right.
Being a conservative, believing in pro-life versus pro-choice. Like, it's more than just that. And that's a whole other topic of discussion, but that we will never go down because that's not what this podcast is. But hit me up on Instagram. I'm more than happy to talk about it. But
your topics, because I want to end it a little funnier than that.
No! No!
That's so funny. We gotta do that. We have decided that at some point, for a little special thing, we're gonna take the video of Esther and we're gonna dub over all of the parts of it.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be tell me why. Like, it's
so good.
It's I'm gonna go home and watch it.
We need to link it.
That's what I'm saying.
Like with this.
Yeah, it's gonna be like our signature.
Oh yeah.
Like and subscribe and share. Watch Esther.
Yep. We're gonna say on every single one.
Yeah, more that we haven't. So we didn't dive into that we can on our next episode. Mm-hmm. This day is so bad.
I have been staring at it the whole time.
It was barbecue sauce and
it's on your wrist too.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's somewhere over here, right there. And so every time you do this, I've been like.
I didn't even know it was there.
Oh no, I knew.
It was so bad. It was so bad. And my feet are itchy.
Oh, the cats.
Oh, that's what my eyes are. They feel like sandy, like gritty.
Like they're closing up. You're swelling up.
Do they look smaller?
No.
Okay. I was like, oh gosh.
Mine. I had somebody come up to me and we're mid conversation. And then they were like, oh my gosh, you have just the most beautiful brown eyes. Just the most chocolate brown eyes. I was like, wow. You can't see them. But I don't look people in the eyes. I literally can't. And so right now I'm looking at your nose.
Oh! I know, I'm looking at your eyes.
Oh, I'm not.
Really?
I notice it even in watching videos. I don't look at people's eyes when I watch a video. I look at everything else.
Your eyes are pretty brown. What was that? She goes,
I can't wink. I can't do it. I've never been able to do it.
Look at them and do it.
Mm-hmm. Is that real? I thought it was fake.
It was not. Unfortunately.
I really thought you were doing a bit.
No, it was too much milkshake at the same time as the wink and
alright, well
chill. The next episode will probably be a little more organized than this.
Maybe.
Probably not at all. I hope you enjoy.
This is the most organized it's ever gonna be.
And this is so off topic. Or not even off topic. I don't know what we did half of it. You're gonna literally probably text me while you're editing this.
Oh yeah. Okay. We're ending this.
Catch us next time.
Is that how you want to end that? With that pose?